Which C6 standard character has the highest DPS, Deya or Tighnari? I think it's Tighnari by a little bit. The biggest problem with Tighnari is that he doesn't have supports that suit his kit very well. Right? He's a character that can lend itself to 12-second rotations without needing too much uptime. But what are the supports that work well with that? Supports that require relatively long field time that work with Dendro. Yai. That's not a good sign. Like, that's not a good sign at all. So Tighnari isn't bad, Yai is. Well, C6 Tighnari is not that bad. And if there was a character who actually properly worked with him, he could actually be pretty good. Right, like let's actually take a look at his numbers, right? Base attack, attack percent, flat attack, total attack, EM multiplier, shut up Carissa. Damage percent, 1, damage percent 2, crit value, crit multiplier, E attack 1, E attack 2, EM. He doesn't have EM, he doesn't have direct EM scaling. Spread 1, spread 2, motion value 1, motion value 2, number 1, number 2, damage 1, damage 2, damage 3, damage 4. C6 Tighnari or C0 Alhaitham? They're pretty similar, but C6 Alhaitham's support synergize better with him, so in the long term, I would expect C6 Tighnari to be better. Like, out of baseline, C6 Tighnari is better. But his supports, he doesn't have access to good synergy support, so he ends up using the ones that Alhaitham uses, which are much better for Alhaitham than they are for him. So, Tighnari base stats, base attack 268. What weapon should we give him? If you do C6 Tighnari, but you didn't like wail on him, you just ended up getting him from standard, you probably don't have his sig. So I don't think we'll do Hunter's Path. But if you have a C6 Tighnari, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume you have Harp. And I think Harp is better than Slingshot. Isn't Slingshot still better? Slingshot doesn't buff his follow-up hits. Only the initial hit. So I think Harp is better, slightly, but not by much. Battle Pass weapon? I guess you could have Battle Pass weapon, but it's also possible you don't. I think I'm just gonna use Harp because it's very simple and straightforward. What stats does he get from Ascension and Con? So EM, damage percent, crit, damage percent, EM. Bro, he gets so many different stats. That's crazy. But he doesn't get any attack from his stuff. So, for now, right? Okay, first, I want you guys to understand, he doesn't have EM scaling here, or here, or here. He also doesn't have direct EM scaling from his passives or his cons. Tighnari is not an EM scaler. He's an attack scaler. Right? Kind of like Kuting. You build EM on him not because he's an EM scaling, but because his numbers are so ass that spreads are better than doing his damage. But like, that's not ideal, right? Because it effectively means that just like Kuting, EM and attack sense are about as good as each other, but they're going to be a lot worse than an attack or an EM main stat on a character that actually scales with those stats directly. But that also means that there are no stat buffs that actually benefit him all that much other than crit and damage percent, right? If a support character buffs his EM or his attack, they're only buffing part of his damage. He misses second ascension. It's not EM scaling. This is damage percent from his EM, but it's not enough to be like an insane amount. It makes EM slightly better. This is why he wants EM a little bit more than he wants attack. But it's not direct EM scaling. Hunter's Path does add EM scaling. It does, yeah. Which is kind of fucked. But anyways. For now, here's what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna give Tighnari support characters from other elements that buff the stats that he wants. Whether or not they are an element that would function in the team. Just so that we can see how strong Tighnari would be if he had dedicated supports that worked in his teams. So, for example, we're going to be using Citlali and assuming that Citlali's buffing Dendro damage through scrolls and shredding Dendro resistance through her passive, okay? Just so we can make an equivalent and see how strong he could be. Yeah, like we're gonna be making up an Electro Citlali, basically. We'd probably want to use Nahida. Would we? I mean, Nahida's ass. Like, you don't really want to use Nahida, you just use Nahida because it is what it is. Who would you use if it worked? Like, Sucrose. I kind of like that idea, yeah. Sucrose if she worked for Dendro. Llama. But the thing is, Llama's not good synergy with Tighnari. Llama's broken enough that you still use her, but she's not good synergy. Chevy. I feel like that's too redundant with Citlali. They wouldn't make a character like Citlali that fits in Chevy teams, I don't think. But maybe we should be using Chevy instead of Citlali. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. That's actually a good idea, yeah. Escoffier. Then I'd rather see Chevy than Escoffier. Isn't Citlali's main purpose to apply enough cryo, making her not suited for other elements? Well, in a team like this, because Citlali's an EM scaler, she would have pretty reasonable off-field damage if she was Dendro or Electro. So she'd actually be pretty decent. We need a good stat buffer. But what's a good stat buffer that you can use in Chevy teams right now? It's like mainly Bennett or Yansan, but neither of them are that good for Tighnari. Because he doesn't care that much about attack. Like, you'd want a crit or damage percent buffer. For Reyna? Yeah, maybe. But I want to look at something that would actually be hyper carry Tighnari. Not Tighnari damage, like, not split damage team. Maybe we just look at Yansan, right? Because yeah, she gives an attack buff, but she also gives a pretty big damage percent buff. So that's not awful. And we can use a character that actually exists right now. Dendro Sarah. Dendro Sarah would also work, but I don't even know if it would be better than Yansan. Like, Yansan is 65 damage percent. 60 crit damage is good, but so is 65 damage percent. It would be similar. Should we do both? I'm down. Let's do both. Yeah, let's do both. Fuck it. So, attack percent from Chevy, you get 40. From Yansan, you get 30. Set bonuses, Yansan is on scroll. Chevy and Sarah would be on something else. Probably want... You don't have any off-field. How long does Deepwood last again? Is it 3? Or is it longer than that? I forgot. It's 8. You can put it on Sarah then. Yeah, you can put it on Sarah, no problem. Because you want full uptime on Sarah's buff, and if you have full uptime on Sarah's buff, it means you also have full uptime on Deepwood if it's on Sarah. Okay, I like that. I like that. It is considered as skill damage, right? Unless I'm an idiot. It's not charge attack damage, right? Okay, it doesn't specify something, so it's probably skill damage. And then Chevy would probably be on Song, but I'm too lazy to calc Song, so we're just gonna assume Noblesse instead. Fuck it. And then your rotation would probably be Tighnari skill, go do your setup, back to Tighnari, burst, 3 charge shots, skill, refresh Sarah, 3 charge shots, burst, and repeat for a 24-second rotation that has everything fully buffed. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Flat attack, isn't it 4 with C6? It's not more shots, it's more hits on each shot. You could... But it does make the charge time faster, so you could fill out your downtime with additional shots, but they wouldn't be fully buffed. So I don't think it's that much better than just staring and waiting out your cooldowns. What about Yansan ER? This is a fairly long rotation, so I don't think it would be too much of a problem. And honestly, if you think it's a problem, then instead of Dendro Chevy, make it Electro Chevy. Right? Then you get Electro Resonance, you're fine. Whatever. Okay. 350 plus 810 from Yansan plus what was it? 89% for Sarah? 91%. And Sarah's base attack is 195 plus any 565 base. Yeah? That's a lot of attack, man. That's crazy. EM. You would probably go EM main stat on Sands, though I don't know if it would be that much better than attack. 187 from main stat. Do we get any EM buffs from the supports? None. None whatsoever. So all the EM is going to be from him directly. So EM main stat, 50 from Ascension 1. 120 from C4. 100 from Dendro Resonance. Someone should go Instructor? No. No, they should not. What set do we give him? Wanderer's Troop, I guess. Plus 80 from Wanderer's Troop. Plus 80 from Substats. More or less. EM multiplier is 5 times EM divided by 1200 plus EM plus 1. Damage percent. Charge attacks. So, minimum of 60% and total EM times 0.06%. So it should be 35, 37. Yeah. This is only for charge attacks. No, charge attacks and bursts. Never mind. Okay. Then we have 46.6 from the Goblet. We have 65 from Eon Sun. We have 50 average, probably 55 average from Chevy C6. Is that it? We have Wanderer's Troop. We have Ascension. We have C2. That's it. On the burst, we don't have the Wanderer's Troop, but that's it. Crit value. So, he's not Ascension, but he's 60 base. 62.2. 20 times 6.6. 30 from C1. 64.2 from Harp. 60 from Sarah. That's it. On the burst, we don't have the crit rate. Oh, it's 85%, sorry. We don't have the crit rate from C1. 85 crit rate instead. So it's there. 60 from Sarah. What do you mean 60 from Sarah? Oh yeah, the crit damage. We're assuming this is Dendro Sarah. Effective attack 1 is total attack times 1 plus damage percent 1 times crit multiplier 1. Effective attack 2 is total attack 2 times 1 plus damage percent 2 times crit multiplier 2. Spread 1 is base damage for spread, which is 1814, I believe. No, it's 1809. GG. 1809 times 1 plus damage percent 1 times crit multiplier 1. Spread 2 is that. Okay. Motion value 1. This is C6, and he doesn't get normal attack. Talent increases. So, Reeve Arrow, 148.2, plus Cluster Bloom, 65.6, times 4, plus 150. This is what happens on each shot. And we get a total of 6 of them. And then skill, 299.2 times 2. Burst is 94.6. No, it's not. Level 12. 111.2 times 12 plus 136 times 12. Then, what do you mean his gauge on normal attack is 4? Why? That means if you could infuse bow attacks, you could... What the fuck is... Why? Why is that a thing? That's so weird. Anyways, his ICD for charge attack group, I believe it's by default just 1, and with C6 it's 2 per shot, right? From the cluster blooms. It doesn't say it here. GG. GG. Why doesn't it say it? Maybe it's on skill? No. Oh, they don't have it on the TCL. That's cooked. It's not on the TCL or on HomDG Cat. That's rare. Usually it's on one of the two. But it's gonna be on the wiki then. ICD Genshin wiki. Okay. Tighnari 1000. So it is +1. Because it's 4-hit ICD. And the C6. Wait, no. Wait, yeah. Okay, no, yeah, okay. So by default, it's 1 per charge shot, and he gets 6, so it's 6. But with the C6, it's an additional 1 per charge shot. So it's 12. And then for 2, on the burst, it's 4, so 8. And on the skill, it's 2, so 10. And then here, should we assume that Deepwood doesn't exist? Because they'd probably balance a Dendro equivalent to Chevy differently because of Deepwood. So you'd be at about 78k DPS. Personal. His motion value 2 seems high. It is high. This is over a 24-second rotation, right? So it's two sequences. But also, like, if you really want to be thorough, this rotation does not take 24 seconds to do. So you have time to do normal charge shots. And at C6, the normal charge shots aren't that awful, right? You can probably get an additional, like, 3 or 4 if you're playing really well. Because C6 makes the, like, skill-enhanced charge shots completely instant, and it makes the normal charge shots a lot faster as well. So you can probably get 4 more. And if you get 4 more, let's just say 760. This is Tighnari 6 CA, then Tighnari 10 CA. Right? 105k personal DPS. Isn't it 3 spreads per charge attack from no ICD hits from arrow and 2 from clusters? Do you get... Oh, I am an idiot, right? Because it's 4 cluster bloom arrows at C0, so it's 2. You're right. I'm an idiot. Thank you. Not times 2, it's times 3. But it's not like that matters. Because Tighnari is not an EM scaler. Like, at 600 EM, he gets 300k DPR from spread. Out of his 2 mil DPR. With these assumptions. Right? Like, it's fake as fuck. Right? Actually, attack sense is probably better, right? Maybe not. It'll be close. Oh, it is better. Yeah. Damn. Because we have really high base attack from Skyward Harp. And we have a lot of damage percent from all the external sources. Keep in mind, chat, this is with assumptions that are not real, right? This is with the assumption that Tighnari were to be given real supports that actually work with him. That is not actually the case, right? That's not how the game is right now. But we can take a look at this with Harp, 6 CA, 10 CA, Hunter's Path. So, Hunter's Path is 542, right? We need to add EM 1. Motion value, EM, damage, 3, 4, 5. Okay. EM is going to be E attack 1, but multiplied by EM instead. Motion value EM here is 0. And damage EM. Okay, is that right or is it wrong? That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Why is it higher? Because I looked at attack sense with this. That's why. Okay, so... Okay, that's changed. Now we need to go EM sense instead of attack sense for this. Okay. Damage percent does not change. Crit value does. Instead of 64.2, it'll be 88.2. Base attack also needs to be changed properly. 542. Okay. So, without looking at the passive, it's a bit worse. But now we need to add the passive, which is... weapons... Hunter's Path. 12 damage percent. Plus 12, plus 12, plus 12, plus 12. And... Okay. After hitting an opponent with charge attack, increase charge attack damage by 160% of EM. This effect will be removed after 12 charge attacks or 10 seconds, and can only be obtained every 12 seconds. Will you actually be able to get 24? It'll be sus. But let's say you do. So 160% times 24. This isn't that much better, but that's because all the external buffs we're using are attack buffs, not EM buffs. If there were EM buffs, the difference would be bigger. Benji, that's not the problem. The problem isn't being able to use them up. The problem is being able to actually gain this effect twice per rotation with the 12-second cooldown. Anyways, is Attack Sense still better? It is. Wow, that's crazy. Does that make any fucking sense? I feel like it doesn't. But maybe it does. Let me take a look at some Tighnari sims. This is carry Tighnari. Yeah. 77.5 with EM Sands. 75 with Attack Sands. But that's... That's because we don't have a lot of EM total, right? So what if we look at... We just add a bunch of EM. Like, just fucking hyper buff the EM. EM equal... Let's give him 500 more EM. Baseline. And then compare Attack Sense to EM Sense. So... Around 81k with Attack Sense. 82k with EM Sense. That's still better. Okay, am I doing something wrong? Oh, wait, you know what? Is it because of the cons favoring Attack Sense more? Because it increases the attack motion value more than the EM motion value? No, it doesn't really. It's by a similar amount. No, that's not true. It increases the attack motion value more than it increases the spread count. Right? Because... the talent levels plus this. Alright, 150 motion value. Or at a baseline, you're hitting for 450. I don't know. I feel like I fucked something up in the calc somewhere, but I don't know where. Aren't the spreads doing too little damage? Maybe? Oh yeah, I forgot the EM multiplier. Right. That's kind of important, huh? Okay, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, I was not increasing my damage with more EM. Yeah, that would explain why EM Sense wasn't that great. Okay, so here, yeah, EM Sense is about as good as Attack Sense here. That makes so much more sense. There we go. Yeah, okay, so EM Sense is like sub 1% better than Attack Sense, but it's basically the same. But then with Hunter's Path, there we go, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. But yeah, but like, this is not a real team, right? Like, this is not actually real. This isn't something you can actually do in-game. Because he doesn't have access to buffers that are nearly as good as what you can get on other elements. Right? If we look at what you can actually get in-game, right? Instead of the Yeonsan, Chevy, what was it, Sarah? We can still have Yeonsan, sure, why not? Instead of Chevy, we have Nahida, and instead of Sarah, we have... Yeah, I know. I want to look at Hyper. I guess Loma. Right? So, we don't have the Chevy attack. We still have the Yeonsan attack. Probably get TOM. Flat attack. We lose Sarah. EM. We gain Nahida. That's it. Damage percent. What the fuck was a 65 from? That was Yeonsan. That's still there. 55 from Chevy. Gone. Crit value. 60 from Sarah. Gone. Okay? And then instead of times 1.15, it'll be times... We have 30 and 25, so 55. So 45, so 225. So, there we go. So with the stuff we actually have, it's not 100k, it's like 68k. Like 2/3. Not that this is bad, right? But it's obviously a lot worse.